Hey guys, it's Parzival, I also go by Will, and I am back with another character babble. And this is actually going to be a character babble for my character Elion, who is currently in a Fire Emblem themed roleplay called Fate's Thread. So I'm actually going to be talking about the Fire Emblem version of him, as opposed to the canonical version of him, because I still gotta work out a few things with that one, in terms of like long-term storyline. So we're going with the Fire Emblem version today. So, my character Elion is a fighter class, though you might notice his long pointed ears, and that's because he is a Tagwell. And in some of the Fire Emblem universes, not all of them, but in some of them, there are shapeshifters that have different names. Rabbit ones are called Tagwells. In Fire Emblem Fates, there's wolfskins and kitsunes, who are wolves and foxes respectively. Tagwells and Manichates, I think how you're pronounced, are rabbits and dragons. Manichates are generally overall the same in terms of names for them overall the series, though some of them are like dragon-blooded people, and they're not actual dragons, except they are, and they can turn into dragons. I'm not really sure on the complications of this, because admittedly, I'm not sure how that would work out in terms of, like, differentiating them, but basically they're shapeshifters. And for the RP group that I'm in, they included most shapeshifter types as different species, though you didn't have to use a beast stone or a dragon stone, and those are what allow these characters to turn from a humanoid form into their animal form. Though in humanoid form they still have some traits such as tails and ears. So Elion's based on a rabbit, but for the RP group I'm in, he's a very diluted mixed race Tagwell, so his family bred with humans a lot, and so his ears aren't like rabbit ears, they're just like very tall human ears that work like a rabbit's ears, kind of. And before anyone goes, that's not how it works in the games, I don't particularly care. This RP is for fun, and it's something that was allowed in the group, and it's something that I enjoy, so why are you raining on my fun? Other than that, though, he's not actually a shapeshifter. He doesn't have enough magic in him to shapeshift because of all the diluted blood, and so he is actually a fighter class, and he uses axes. Though in this reference picture, which is an updated summer reference, he's actually using a dancer's baton, which is, for the group, a type of axe that transforms from a dancer's baton into an axe. So I thought it would be pretty fun for the updated art to just have the, like, dancer's baton and with the ribbon and have it very flowy, because I wanted to have fun with this new armor. Now, you might have noticed on the old reference picture that popped up in the very beginning when I was grabbing stuff, and I think it might pop up again when I'm grabbing colors. The old art is kind of weird in proportions, and that's why I want to update the new art, not only just because I want to give Elion some new armor for the summer, but also because I didn't really like the proportions of the old one. I was still getting used to my Cintiq back then, and I was trying to learn Psy at the same time, and that was not a good idea, because I don't know why it did, but it really screwed with my ability to draw. So I ended up having this really weirdly proportioned art of Elion, whose head was way too big for his body. So now I have this new one, and I'm much happier with it. And it really was just a factor of just switching back to Photoshop. I can't learn the Cintiq stuff as well as learning Psy at the same time, and that was a mistake for me. But I'm getting off track, and I should be talking about my character Elion. That switching to a Cintiq should be a different video. Yeah, basically Elion is an ex-soldier who is technically still on call if needed, but because it is the time of a peacetime, and he has been serving for several years, because he's in his late 30s, he has taken a break from his work on a extended absence that has been approved by the royals of his kingdom to go on a journey to find one of his old friends, I guess. They're not really friends anymore because Elion wants to go find him to punch him in the face. But Elion has some issues with family in the form of he doesn't really have one, and this last friend that he had kind of just up and vanished. So Elion wants to go find him to, one, make sure he's okay, because Elion cares about him, but also to punch him in the face. Because that's kind of the person Elion is, and who, like, his friend just up and leaving was kind of a jerk thing to do without just telling anyone. But yeah, so he's got this new armor that I decided to have based in some Roman armor because I really like that aesthetic, and it works well with doing relatively simple armor that's not just like, I know the Fire Emblem style tends to have characters with so much armor, it's all like metal plates everywhere, but that's not really how armor works. It can, but that's mostly for full suits of armor for like the 100-Year War, and that's not everyone's armor. So I gave Elion more of a Roman-themed armor because I wanted something lighter, I wanted something that was flowy for summer, so I made it more Roman-based so that it would be good for the heat, and also it wouldn't be as much plate armor to draw. He does have some, I guess it's chainmail, but the way I stylized it, it's just bands across the stomach, but that is supposed to be chainmail. I just decided to work with something a little bit more simplified, since I like to work with more simplified style. But it doesn't really look like chainmail, and I'm aware of that. But yeah, I wanted to give him something summery, and I wanted it to actually look like actual armor, even though it doesn't really, but it does look like Roman armor. I was using Roman armor as a reference. You saw me pull up my traditional stuff where I had all my sketches there. But yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with Elion. I don't want to go too far into his plot or what I want to do with him yet, because it's an RP group that's still ongoing, and to talk about his entire plot, besides the basics of his backstory, would feel kind of presumptuous. But yeah, he's just this really fun and slightly salty rabbit man who used to be a soldier, and I really wanted to make a fighter because I really love axes in terms of like large war axes as weapons. And even though I didn't draw it in this one because I'm using a dancer score, it's just really fun to work with. Yeah, I think that's about all for this character Babble, and I'm noticing right now that this is actually just a one-take thing, so my apologies for any like flaws or anything. I just kind of went off the top of my head. But as usual, if well, one, thank you very much for your support. If you'd like to support me on a personal note, I do have my Patreon linked in the description, as well as all my social media if you want to comment or, you know, drop me a question or something, or you can do that in the comments below. But yes, thank you guys so much for support. I'll see you next time. Bye!